First of all, thank you for coming. There's been a lot of time and effort placed into this presentation today. It's our hope that you will take some of the points and some of the comments that are made to heart, and it'll help impact your life, your family's life, and the life of your friends. My name is Neil Strobel. I'm the police chief. I get the responsibility to narrate today. There are a lot of people that have done a lot more work in this presentation than what I have, and you'll get a chance to meet all of those a little bit later. One of my suggestions to you is that we probably have 1,000 students in attendance here. 836 people died last year in car crashes. So that's almost everybody if these were the numbers. So just for a graphic presentation, you know the scope of the impact. Each one of those 836 people obviously had families and friends that were all impacted by the decision and the incident. In police work, just like as a student, you make a lot of decisions every day. Sometimes we make decisions which aren't very good decisions and we luck out and nothing happens to us. Sometimes we're not quite that fortunate though, and there's long-lasting consequences for the quick decisions that we didn't even think we were making. So today, as you watch this presentation unfold, recognize that us up here are trying to make a difference in your life. Each October, we have a day that's dedicated for making a difference in our community. We hope that this is a day that makes a difference in our community as well. Graduations are right around the corner, and all the summer activities and all the parties at the lakes and at the shacks. And I just have to caution you that it's an important time of your life, and one decision could have some serious consequences.
It's all about the party, guys.
So what's going on?
Yeah, see you. Come here, I need to talk to you.
Go, beer!
I don't know, this keg seems to be getting kind of empty.
Yeah.
I don't know, this party...
It's kind of dying down a little bit.
It is.
It always does. We're talking about going now. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Do you want to just get out of here?
It's pretty cramped in here. It's getting pretty warm.
Yeah. Guys, I don't know.
It's not a good party at all. Pretty lame.
Yeah, let's just get out of here. I know Jeff's having a party. I told him I might stop over. I mean, I've only had 2 or 3. I think I'm okay to drive.
Them drinks aren't that big anyway.
It's just beer. It's just 1 or 2 beers. What can I do? I mean,
at least over at Jeff's they got variety though.
And I know he told me he was coming. It's gonna be a nice party. It's not exactly the best. We should go while I've only had 2 or 3.
Yeah, then we can still drive, and then if we need to.
There's only one person out of the car. Okay, so of the 3 people injured, you think one person might be trapped? Yeah, I don't know. There's 2 people in the other car, and they still haven't gotten out. Okay, we'll send someone out there right away, and just hold tight there. We're getting some other phone calls right now, so we'll get the fire department and the sheriff's department on the way out. Okay. All right, bye-bye. Bye. Lincoln Sheriff 911. Merrill Police Department Unit 167, Lincoln 125. Response to Highway 64 by Hillview Road for a two-vehicle motor vehicle crash with injury. There is one ejected and two trapped. For a two-vehicle motor vehicle crash with injury, there is one ejected and
Somebody do something!
What? What's wrong with him? Don't.
Ryan!
Over and sit down. Over and sit down.
Ellen, you gotta do something!
It's okay, we call for help.
10-4,
Right here.
125.
Ryan!
10-4, 167.
Yeah.
10-4, medic 1.
He's hurt!
What's his name?
I don't know.
Brian.
Brian. Can you hear me? Brian. One non-response.
10-4, rescue 1.
What's your name? What happened, Elizabeth?
The other car hit us. Ryan!
No, just the driver's over here. He's okay. And the passenger's got the...
Lincoln Sheriff. I'm seeing.
Yeah, just over here. Okay? Stand right here.
Took one copies.
Sure, I like to do is just go sit right in the spot right here. Got two non-responsive, one that's hurt in the vehicle.
Okay.
You hurt anywhere else?
My chest.
You have any problems breathing?
Yes.
Lincoln Sheriff from Medic 1.
Medic 1.
We have one fatality. We have two people that are possibly seriously injured. If you could get Spirit to start this way.
He's non-responsive.
10-4,
That
medic
lady
1.
there's
Full dispatch,
she's
Spirit
hot.
of Marshfield.
You got a leg injury?
John, do you want to cover him up, please?
How old are you?
18.
It's an 18-year-old female here.
My name is Phil. I'm with the ambulance. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. What's your friend's name here?
Jake.
Okay. What hurts right now, Elizabeth?
My leg.
Okay.
My chest.
Okay.
Medic 1. Spirit of Marshfield.
Can you feel that, Elizabeth?
No.
ETA. Please advise the landing zone.
All right, let's get her out quick and we'll get her to the hospital. Lincoln Sheriff, copy that ETA. All right. See color. All right, this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable for you right now, Elizabeth, okay? What we're doing is we're putting a collar around your neck to protect you from cervical injury, okay?
Can you hear me? How's your breathing, Phil?
She's breathing okay? You ready to move, John?
Yes.
All right, you ready? Elizabeth, we're going to slide you over onto our board, okay?
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
125. The sheriff and the coroner have been notified.
One more?
One more, please. Bob, it looks like we've got an open femur fracture here.
You having any trouble breathing? Show me where it hurts when you're breathing.
Right in the chest.
We'll check
Okay,
it.
let's get her into the ambulance.
Over on this one, or
Yep. Go ahead and grab C-spine on him and help the next crew. Okay. you want to leave that with them? Get her strapped in. Get her going to the hospital. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of oxygen on you, okay? As soon as we get you into the ambulance. Let's get her going. All right, Elizabeth, we're going to get you into our ambulance, all right? We're going to put some oxygen on you. Okay, we're going to start an IV on you, okay?
Okay, John.
You hold C-spine. I'll get over to get his legs out.
Yeah, I think that'll help. Yeah. Do we have anything else? Anybody else here to help us? No.
Okay, ready? On 3. 1.
Yeah. 2, 3.
Yeah, take his head here.
I'm gonna get his.
There we go.
Okay.
Maybe you want to come over here,
Oh,
John?
I can push it a little bit too. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One.
See, it looks good. Yep.
You still breathing?
Yeah. Helicopter here yet?
No.
Okay, we're gonna leave that thing. 7 minutes, I thought. Yes. One fatal. He's right over there. He's right here. From well, one of the passerbys said that might be Ryan Bain, but they haven't looked for any kind of identification or anything yet. We'll check
What? What? Is he gonna be? Is he gonna be okay? But there's my friend. Yeah. Ryan. Okay. Okay.
photo matches here. Okay.
Yep.
I'll let you secure the wall.
Okay.
Confirming his name. Got his wallet. And if you want to notify Wades, have him come down here and secure the body.
Sheriff. 1079, 10-4-125. The coroner has already contacted the funeral home.
Yeah, somebody should get
Give us a hand over here with him. Give us a hand with him. Dr. Witness's staff. Did you guys see what happened at all, or you just come across? Just driving right behind them. Driving right behind them? Where are you guys coming from? Dinner party? You weren't with those guys though, huh? Were you at the No, it's on. Test. It's on. It's on.
The numbers of it? What time did you guys arrive?
Huh? Yeah, I think I know. Wasn't that blue in it? He's gonna get the best care that he can. Why don't you sit down right here, okay? Just sit right here, okay? Thank you. Just stay right here, okay? I'll be back talking in a couple minutes. I gotta help these people over here.
Is my friend okay?
Your friend's gonna.
Is Ryan?
Your friend's gonna be taken to a hospital to get looked at.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you get his ID?
Not yet, no.
with me?
Yeah. I'll arrange that.
They can get him to a hospital quicker that way than by a land ambulance. They're thinking about they're out a helicopter.
Yeah, I don't know. The local fella?
Yeah.
He's ready though.
Got pictures and measurements.
Okay. I get all the information from the vehicle, so it's just dealing with him when we get this cleared up. Okay.
We're going to lift you using the bag. Keep your head up. Okay, your head's going to go in this block. You'll feel it underneath you. Good.
We're going to seatbelt you in.
The look in the firefighter's eyes as he covered me up with the blanket. I think he had a son too. I can tell that he has seen too many of us die, and that he wishes that there was something he could do. All because of one decision. Unfortunately, it took this for me to realize it was the wrong decision. Who would have thought that this one choice could change so much? All of my hopes and dreams, gone, just like that. The plans that I had with my friends tomorrow, college, a family. My entire future is now in the past. And my family, the grief and sorrow that I just put them through, the vacation plans we had for next week, now they are planning my funeral. I'll never have the chance to tell my mom and dad goodbye and how much I love them. My little brother, Logan, the way that he looked up to me, he did everything that I did. I was everything to that little boy, and he was everything to me. Tell my friends and fellow students to learn from this, and even though it is hard sometimes, you must choose to do what is right. Please, don't let this happen to you. What was I thinking? Getting into a car with a driver that has been drinking. Even something as simple as buckling my seatbelt. Everything could be different. I could be going with my friends tomorrow, on my vacation next week, or to college later, and be able to tell my mom, dad, and brother, I love you. But no, one foolish mistake cost me everything. Don't let the same mistake happen to you.
Where are they taking him?
Okay, I need for you to come right here.
But where?
You have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Driver's license?
Yes, sure.
Just stay right there.
Are the other ones gonna
They're
be
gonna
okay?
take care of him. Can I take it all the plastic, please?
There you go.
You can keep your wallet.
I didn't.
Shay, is this your current address?
Yeah, it's.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
18. Okay.
I didn't mean it.
What happened? What happened, Shay?
I was just driving. We were at one party. We're going to another.
Okay.
And then I didn't see him.
Okay, in talking to you, I can detect an odor of an alcoholic beverage about your breath. Have you been drinking tonight?
Just a little. Just at the first party.
How much is a little?
Just a few.
Okay.
I just had a few beers.
Okay, you're kind of unsteady on your feet. I'd like you to do a couple of tests for me. Would you do that, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Are they gonna be okay?
We got to deal with this first, and we'll find out what happened to them later. Okay? Do you know the English alphabet?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, can you stand still? Okay. Recite it all the way from A to Z for me, would you please?
Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, M.
Gotta focus on me.
N, O, N, O, P, Q, R, S. T.
Hold it. You want to try again your...
Okay. Sorry. I'm worried about my.
Sure.
He's gone. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Okay, from the accident, did you get hurt at all?
No.
Okay. Do you have any problems with your head?
No.
Any coordination problems or anything?
No.
Okay. What I'd like for you to do is stand on this line here, the fog line.
Okay.
Put your right foot in front of your left foot, so you're standing just like this. Okay, hold that position. When I tell you to begin, I want you to walk 9 steps, heel to toe, along this line.
Okay.
Okay, just listen up. You gotta listen up. You gotta pay attention to me right now, okay? When you get to the 9th step, you're gonna complete your 9th step. I want you to make a pivot turn like this.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Walk back to your original starting point.
All right.
Count your steps out loud. If at any time you stop during the test, just continue where you stopped.
Okay.
Okay? You have any questions?
No.
Okay, please begin the test.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, now
And then-
9 steps back to where you started from.
Okay. 1.
Nope, turn around. Make that pivot turn.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
But
Okay, one more test for you to do. Okay, you just got one more test to do.
okay.
What I want you to do, watch me. You got to focus on me, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I want you to lift one foot off the ground about 6 inches. Just watch me first.
Okay.
About 6 inches. Point it to the ground. Go count to 30, going 1001, 1002, 1003. I want you to keep your hands at your side. If you stop during the test, start at the number that you stopped at.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Please begin the test.
1, 2,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000, 12, 1, 12,
Okay,
1,000.
you can stop the test. Okay, got one more thing for you to do, okay?
Yeah.
All right, this is what's called a preliminary breath tester.
Okay. Do you know if everybody's gonna be okay though? I didn't.
That I don't know. They're gonna get medical attention. Okay, when I tell you to, I want you to blow in this tube.
All right.
All right, you can see right now it reads 00.
Yeah.
Okay? Blow. Okay. How much did you have to drink?
Just a few. Just.
And you're 18 years old?
Yeah.
You know what the legal limit in the state of Wisconsin is?
I don't remember. I'm
It's
worried about my-
0.08. Your PBT is 0.12. Okay? What I need for you to do is turn around, face that way, put your hands behind your back.
Why?
You're under arrest for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Okay? Just put your hands behind your back.
Do you have anything in your car that we should know about?
No, I don't know. I just.
Are those too tight?
Yeah. No, I'm okay. But
Okay, walk back this way.
This side.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
I'm Deputy Pete Annis with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department. This is Deputy Coroner George Barzak. Could we come in for a minute, please?
Yeah. What's this about?
Is there something wrong?
Please sit down.
I'm sorry, but we have some bad news. Your son Ryan was killed in a car crash tonight.
No,
Yes.
no. Are you can't be serious.
Yes.
Oh, John, what he's saying.
What happened? How did it happen?
It was a two-vehicle crash, and he was ejected from the vehicle that he was in.
Ryan, I have to see him. I have to see him. Can you see him?
He's at Wade's funeral.
Can you take us there?
Certainly. Certainly, if you'd like to follow us.
All the while we were here this afternoon, the parents sat, didn't have a clue what was going on. As a parent, sometimes my biggest worry is that other families will be experiencing just what you saw here. Okay? Their life has changed. Ryan died. He wasn't even the driver. 22,000 crashes last year, alcohol involved, in the state of Wisconsin. That's a lot, isn't it? So our decisions, your decisions, impact every one of us. It's important. These are the best of times if you keep them the best of times. They could also be the worst of times if you make that one bad decision. Alcohol, speed, and not using your seat belts are three very serious components that always end up in injury. So please take the time to do the things that you know are right. We're going to take an opportunity and have some of the people explain to you behind the scenes what happened to the passengers in the car. So if I can have the doctor.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Dr. Taukman. I'm an emergency physician working at Good Samaritan Hospital when Elizabeth was brought in by the emergency personnel. They had reported that Elizabeth was involved in a motor vehicle accident with alcohol also involved in this. They reported that she had some difficulty breathing. They had placed some oxygen on her. They noticed that she had some deformities to her legs. They had placed her on a longboard with a cervical collar in place, immobilizing her neck at the same time, and transported her to the hospital for further evaluation. When she got there, she was further examined. Again, noted that she had some difficulty breathing as they reported. Listening to her lungs, that she had some decreased breath sounds on one side. Her trachea was also deviated, pushed off to a side, suggesting some collapse of one of her lungs. This is immediately treated with sticking a needle in their chest, drawing some of the air off, and then temporarily reinflating the lung until a tube could be placed for more stable treatment of that. The patient was noted to otherwise have a clear airway. She was noted to be in shock with some evidence of blood loss. Her pulse was rapid. Her skin was pale and cool. Examination of her abdomen showed it to be rigid and tender as best we could tell. No more information at that time, as patient was unable to give any more. She had a 6-inch laceration involving her face. She had an obvious fracture to her femur, her leg bone, and suspected pelvic fracture. All of these can present problem in terms of her breathing and in terms of blood loss. Because of her condition, IV fluids were given right away. Blood was typed and crossed for further treatment, and she was given x-rays of her chest, of her pelvis, of her femur, and then she was taken to a CT scan for further evaluation of her abdomen. At that time, it was noted to be a large amount of blood in her abdomen, and the pelvic fractures were confirmed. The patient was noted to have a laceration to her spleen with significant blood loss. Surgery was consulted and did come to the emergency department, and the patient was taken to surgery for further treatment.
Thanks, Doc. It sounds like her life was altered for a long time. Well, we know what happened to Elizabeth. Maybe we should find out what happened with Wade Funeral Home. Paul?
After we picked Ryan up, we took him back to the funeral home, and the coroner met us back there, and he took blood samples to see if he had been drinking also. That's mandatory by the state. The family was up all night, Ryan's mom and dad. They just in shock and grief, and 10 o'clock the next morning we had them come in to make arrangements, and when his mom and dad walked in, her knees were rubbery and she could hardly walk in. She was so full of emotion, and his dad was trying to hold up, but we sat and made arrangements, and it was a terrible, terrible time for them. And we had to go through visitation and the funeral. And the other kids' parents, they're lucky. They get to talk to their kids again. But Ryan's parents, they'll never get to talk to him again.
Thanks, Paul. Somebody from Spirit. They gave me two names. I'm going to assume this is Linda.
The young man that we picked up, the first thing we would have done when we got to the helicopter is given IV lines in, given some medication, and put a breathing tube in because his lung sounds were not the greatest. From there, we would have put a needle into his chest because one side of the lung was not expanded anymore. While we're doing all this, we would be calling St. Joseph's Hospital Level 2 Trauma Center to activate the trauma criteria. When we arrive at St. Joseph's, the trauma surgeon lab, x-ray, will all be there waiting for us, give them a report, and after they do a quick assessment, the patient would be off to x-ray or surgery. The outcome is hard to say. Let's see. With organ donation, I was told to talk to you about that. I have 2 teenagers myself, and they're 17 and 18, and they really thought hard about it. If you think it's a misconception that once you sign that card, that means they aren't going to try the darndest to bring you back to life, it's wrong. They turn around and they'll work their hardest. They run special tests when they get to the point where there's no brain activity, and then they talk to the family and ask them if they want to organ donate. If you do decide to sign the back of that card, talk to your family, talk to your friends, so they're aware of what your wishes are when you can't speak for yourself. And that's about all I got to say.
We're very fortunate to have resources such as Spirit, but I can tell you in the 28 years that I've been in law enforcement, that's a terrible sound of that helicopter coming into our community. Okay, that means that someone's life is never going to be the same as it was. So I thank you for being available to us. Deputy Annis?
I guess it's on. Good afternoon. The chief and I tie that 28 years of service. I've been with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department that long, and currently the traffic safety coordinator. In the back seat of the Merrill police car is your friend, Shay, in handcuffs. From the back of that car, he's going up to the hospital where they're going to do a blood draw for legal purposes. Determine how much alcohol he has in his system. Right now he's charged with drunk driving. Once they determine that his limit is over the legal limit in the state of Wisconsin, that charge is going to change. He's going to be charged with a Class D felony, which is known as homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle or firearm. Good possibility that he'll also be charged additionally with causing great bodily harm by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. Intoxicated homicide in the state of Wisconsin carries a fine of up to $100,000 and imprisonment of up to 25 years. The courts are getting tougher on intoxicated driving and especially intoxicated homicide. I don't believe there's anyone in the audience today that would like to spend 25 years in prison. What you saw when Deputy Coroner George Barzak and I went and knocked on that door, something I've had to do way too often. It never gets any easier. In fact, it probably gets harder. Put yourself in my shoes. Go knock on that door at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and tell some parents they just lost their son or daughter. I don't think any of you want to do that. 20 years from now, you're going to be the people sitting on that couch. You want somebody coming to your door at 2 o'clock in the morning to let you know that your kids were just killed in a crash? I don't think so. Please don't drink and drive. Fasten your safety belts whenever you get in a vehicle and watch your speed. Thank you.
Thanks. Before I said that none of us get into our cars thinking that this could happen. You know, anytime somebody has stolen something or broken into a home or broken into a car, many times my officers get to hear, I never thought it would have happened to me. We need to think that it can happen to us. Ken? Ken Smerzik would like to share some thoughts and comments with you.
2 years ago, probably some of you were here, and I had talked about one of my sons who was involved in an accident. It was a real serious accident. It was a high-speed accident. It rolled over several times. He was trapped in a vehicle. We used the jaws of life, just like you see here, to get him out. I was on the call. We got him out. He had 2 broken legs and a broken arm. Transported him to the hospital, and we had a lot of long rehab with him. He was in a wheelchair for a month. He had to go to prom in a wheelchair, which for him it was tough. He was a junior then. He still has, he did recover. He had, like I said, he was, for about 6 months, he couldn't do hardly anything. His knee still locks up, and that's been 3 years. There's still legal matters going on from that. So even without the fatality, and as far as I know, there was no drinking and driving involved in that. Well, then another thing I said 2 years ago, which maybe some of you remember, most of you probably don't, is when we were practicing out here, like we were doing yesterday and today, we saw a lot of people driving crazy out in the parking lots, and I was thinking, people can get hurt not just in a high-speed chase or just driving fast. You can get hurt out in the parking lot, especially the way some kids or people drive. And little did I know that that would come back and haunt me, because it wasn't too long after that. I think it was maybe a year. We received another call when I was working, and we had a call for out at the Mark where a 14-year-old fell off the back of a car. And we had another ambulance that I sent out because they were a little closer, and then we had another call for a heart attack about the same time. And I ended up going to a heart attack call, and the other ambulance went out, and I heard the information in that call. He said 14-year-old falling off the back of the car, and that he was combative. Now, for somebody that is in medical field and you hear a head injury and combative, those are 2 words you don't want to hear, because that's a bad sign. It means there's some definitely brain injury and problems. So I went on the call and didn't realize too much was going on. I was kind of listening it because we had a heart attack. I was listening to the radio, seeing how this other kid was doing. Well, when I pulled in the emergency room, I saw my wife's car out. And after what my other experience with my son, it made me think, I says, I didn't think it could be my son because I didn't even know he was out there. But when I pulled in and they were working, we went by and they were working on I looked in, it was my son there. And needless to say, it shook me up pretty good. My wife was there, and she was very shook up. It was a serious head injury. He had a skull fracture. He was bleeding from the ear, which means there's a lot of damage. His pupils were unequal. He was combative, like I said, and it was real serious. I got in by him, and I had seen injuries like this, and I knew how normally they turn out, because when I've seen them combative, they'll be fighting in 1 minute, they'll be quiet, and then they'll die. And that actually happened to my son, where he just kind of went, he was fighting us, and he was quiet, his heart rate dropped. I thought he was gone for a little bit there. And he kept going. We called for flight for life with a helicopter. We were going to fly him to Marshfield, but the helicopter was broke down, or they were working on it or something. So we had to take a critical care unit down to Wausau, and we got down there, and he was about the same. And he was still kind of coming out. If he'd come out of it a little bit, he'd be combative. So they decided to put him in a coma. For 3 days, he was like that in a coma. So we sat by his bed, and the doctors were hoping that things would turn out okay, but they weren't sure, depending upon the swelling. Normally, your brain swells a lot, but I think because he was bleeding heavily from his ear, which is a sign of a skull fracture, I think the pressure didn't build up in his brain. After 3 days, they brought him out of the coma. And he was coming around pretty good, but you have to understand, he doesn't remember anything about the accident. He doesn't remember, even the way he came out of the coma, he didn't know what he was doing. And I remember sitting up with him every night, and we had a little folding chair sitting next to his bed. For 3 nights, my wife and I sat there. We hadn't slept in 3 nights. Well, he was coming out of it, and even though he was awake, he didn't know what he was doing. And he had all kinds of tubes in him. One was an NG tube, and it actually goes down your stomach, blocks off your stomach. I remember they were trying to find somebody to watch him because they thought he might try pulling all his tubes and stuff, and they couldn't find anybody. And I said, well, I'll stay awake. Well, I had been awake 3 nights already, and I remember sitting there, and he was even asking me, trying to get out of the straps because he didn't want to be tied down. He didn't know what was going on, and he didn't like all these tubes. Well, I told Tyler, I can't do that for you. So it really broke me up that I had seen him in this shape, and well, I fell asleep, and the next thing I know, there's a bunch of nurses in there, and here he had woke up enough where he pulled the tubes out, and then of course by doing that he really got sick. And I know it really made me feel bad because I fell asleep and kind of let him down and stuff. But I mean, that's the things that your parents or somebody's going to have to go through in something like this. It's really hard on the parents, for the family. I know his friends were very upset, and I said, he doesn't like me to talk about it. My other son does not like me to talk about it because they figure they'll be teased or whatever. But I'm just sharing this story with you so you don't have to go through this, or you don't put one of your friends through it, And both of my sons turned out to be fine, I still told people I'd rather go through this 10 times than to lose my son. And we've had guys at work that I've worked with that have lost their son. And, to this day, and imagine how that affects them, and it affects any parent. But I think when we pull up and it's actually one of our kids, it's tough to deal with. And even I think some of the guys that work with me, it's tough because it's family, and it's a pretty tough situation. But and then with my son, he went through therapy and everything, and they said it was kind of a miracle that he did not have any damages. He had a fractured skull all the way from the back all the way up here, went right through the middle of his eardrum, and a doctor couldn't believe that he didn't lose his hearing from that. But there was no damage, and he's doing fine. But I'm real fortunate that way. But it's not something anybody wants to go through. So just what the chief said is think about before you do stuff. And I don't want to think just because you're not drinking and driving, you're not going to get into an accident. Again, that other incident, as far as I know, it was the middle of the day, and there was no drinking involved. It was just goofing around, and it can happen out in the parking lot. It can happen anywhere. And wear your seatbelts. My first. The son that was in the first accident didn't have a seatbelt, and I don't think he would have been hurt as bad. And it's affecting the court cases and everything too. So just try to use your head when you're out driving. Driving is a big responsibility. Most kids think, well, if I hurt myself, it's myself. But think about hurting your friends, hurting somebody else's family, hurting some little kids. It can happen so easily. So just try to be careful when you're driving. That's about all I can say. Thank you.
Nice job. So it can happen to us in our community. As Ken said before, there's a lot of driving in this parking lot which causes all of us a lot of concern. Please use your head on that. Larry? Thanks.
I had one more thing that I wanted to tell you guys about. Approximately 4 years ago, back at my old school before I came to Merrill, it was a beautiful day just like this. It was about 12 o'clock, and a group of 5 students decided that they were just going to go for a car ride at lunch. There were 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and 1 sophomore in just a small 4-door car, and they were just driving around, and they decided, hey, I've got some marijuana, let's have a smoke. So these 5 students decided to do that, and were driving impaired. And I know a lot of you think, oh, that doesn't do anything, doesn't mean anything, won't impair me that bad. But these students pulled up, well, actually didn't even pull up. They came to an intersection of a busy state highway, and they were broadsided by a semi-truck doing 60 miles an hour. Those students, only 1 of them survived. 4 of them died. And that was 4 years ago that happened at my school. And let me tell you, the effects to the school were devastating. We had grief counselors coming in for 3 weeks. We had to go through 4 funerals over a period of because one of the boys was, as stated before, he was put into a coma for a long period of time while they tried to see if they could help him survive, and it just didn't work, and so he too had to pass away. So we had it was incredibly traumatic for the entire student body. And then even to go one step further, the only person to survive was the sophomore. She had to come to school for the next 2 years and confront every day what she was involved with, what she saw, and how she was there when some of her friends died. So I guess I just want, again, to emphasize the message that you don't think it could happen here, but it can happen anywhere, and as stated, it does happen. So please be careful, and use your common sense when you're driving, and just be safe, okay? Thank you.
Well, I said before that a lot of other people had a chance to put this work together to bring it here today, and I'd like to introduce Chris Marion from the fire department, who's actually been spearheading this for this year and in 2002 when we did it the very first time. Chris, thank you on behalf of all of the parents and all of the community members for all your effort.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just have a few words to say before I get into my thank yous, and thank everyone for making this happen. I know this wasn't really high-tech movie production status of what's going on here, but you know, we can mess these cars up and put them together like they just crashed. Everyone knows they actually didn't, but both of these cars were involved in alcohol-related car accidents over the last year and a half or 2 years. You can't see and you can't smell what actually happens when you go out on an accident like this. The blood that's on the road, it just has a particular odor that once you smell it, you'll always remember it. We've come upon accidents like this way too many times, and if we can prevent 1 or 2 of them from happening, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So with that, I'd just like to make some thank yous. First of all, to the faculty and you, the student body of Merrill High School, Deb Brunette and the whole MP3 crew that filmed this entire project and will be aired on MP3 for the next couple of years till we do it again. Nancy Ansdorfer and the drama crew, all the students that came out and helped, did the acting. The Merrill Fire Department, Merrill Police Department, everyone here from the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department, Wade Funeral Home for coming out and donating their time, the Spirit of Marshfield and the flight crew who was nice enough to come over and land their helicopter out on the football field here, Dr. Talkman from the Good Samaritan Health Center Emergency Room for donating his time, George Barzak, Deputy Coroner, Paul Kilgus and Sharon Harvey, the Mr. and Mrs. Bame who had to pretend their son was just killed in a car accident, and Rod Zrecker for donating these cars to us. I'm sure I forgot to say thank you to somebody. I apologize if that's the case. Everyone will be available down here if you guys have any questions for